Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PSN review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Wipeout, which if you've never played it before, it's basically a racing game, and I personally think it's a terrible racing game. At the start you have one player, two player, which doesn't work because you click two player and it says that it's trying to initialise a serial link up, and basically it's because it was, I think it's called LAN. I'm unfortunately not too great with the technical terms, but where you actually get two PlayStations and connect it together with a cable. Basically, that's how the multiplayer worked. So why they've even included that option on the PSN version, unless there is some way to get it to work. But I mean, you put pads in and that doesn't work. You put a second pad in or anything like that. So that's rather annoying. Unless it's some sort of secret code you've got to do, where player 1's in actual player 7 pad and player 2's playing on player 5 pad or something. But anyway, for all intents and purposes, the two player pretty much doesn't work. One player is basic and the options are very basic as well. The one player, you basically get a choice of two classes. The only difference is the classes are harder, so Venom's easier, Rappy is harder. You can then do championship race, single race or time trial. Championship race, obviously you just go through a load of races and fight the computer off and get points and go through championships and stuff like that. So I might as well just show off a couple of single races, because then I can show off a couple of the tracks, of which there were only 7 and one of them is very hard to get. You then get a choice of 4 different crafts, which pretty much play identical, to be fair, and upon choosing a craft you then get a choice of pilot, which again pretty much play identical, to be fair, so I don't really know why there's any actual choice here. But anyway, I'll choose them for now, because at least the blue and white goes well together. As I say though, there's only 7 tracks and one of them's hard to get, so there's not even much to do here. And in case people are pretty much watching this now thinking, well, why did he even buy it? I'll be honest, I thought this was the second one, because I didn't realise that the second one was the second one. Basically, there's Wipeout, Wipeout 2097, or XL I think it was called in the States, and then Wipeout 3. I've had all 3 and I've only liked Wipeout 2097, but the only reason I've had all 3 now is because I bought this by mistake thinking that it was 2097. So if you're out there thinking that you like 2097 and you think about trying this one, just stay away, because it really is terrible. You can tell it was the first one, and to be fair, I don't even know how the hell they managed to actually get a second game with the first one being so bad. But I'm glad they got a second game, because the second one was brilliant. As I say, not a fan of the third one, but they have then made some great games in the series, and the one available on the PSN, the HD and Fury pack, is just fantastic. It really is. So if you really want a Wipeout game, because 2097 is not on the PSN, definitely go get Wipeout HD Fury. But basically though, it is your standard racing game, so the whole point is you have to race and come in first place, or at least come in one of the trophy places. You can go through turbo pads though, so this is where it's unstandard. You can go through the turbo pads, you can also collect weapons and fire weapons, you can get defensive weapons, you can get offensive weapons, you can get mines 3 times in a row, which I'm glad I managed to get that on camera, because it seems pretty much every time I race on this track with this car, I get mines 3 times in a row from the same 3 pads. I don't know what it is, but I always seem to get mine, so a bit dodgy. But as I say, there's offensive weapons, defensive weapons, there's rockets, there's homing missile type things, there's the ability to do shields and turbos. So shields obviously just more protection items, and turbos are just to help you get there. Top left corner basically tells you the lap record and your number of laps and stuff like that. Top right tells you your position. Bottom right tells you your speedometer type thing, although it's just a bar, so it's hard to figure out at first. And bottom left is basically the time you've actually spent on this thing. There's as far as I'm aware, absolutely no energy limit or anything on this one, because that was introduced into the later ones, so you can crash, you can get blown up like mad and you still won't die. And if you do die, then it must take some severe punishment, because I've intentionally just sat there and got the crap kicked out of us, and it nothing happened after about 15 minutes still. Anyway though, let's go on to a different track so I can at least show off some of the tracks, as I said. Graphically the game looks okay, nothing too special though, and musically the game sounds, to be fair, I think it sounds pretty daft. The tracks on it I don't really like. It's again one of those things where in the other games the tracks seem to always be much better that you can listen to, so I'm quite happy that that's also evolved. But the music tracks on this one are a bit daft, but I'll still shut up for a bit and let you listen. And to be fair, there's very little left to really say about the game, other than that unless you are the most diehard of diehard Wipeout fans, I can't see any reason for you actually wanting this or enjoying this or anything, but I will hold my hands up right now and admit I am not a die-hard Wipeout fan. I've liked 2 or 3 games of the series, and while I love HD Fury, I do think that it's the best one that's came out like ever, and it's one of those that it's managed to start and do the things that I like about racing games with HD Fury. With the other games, I tried the N64 one and it was okay, 2097 I loved, the third one I thought was a bit naff. I never got to try the PlayStation 2 ones. Was there even one on the PlayStation 2, to be fair? I can't remember, but just further proof that I didn't know anything about them or get to try them. And the ones on the PSP, the first one I absolutely hated, but the second one I loved. So I'm not a die-hard Wipeout fan, so I'll probably get grief from die-hard Wipeout fans slagging the game off as much. However, I will say one thing to any F-Zero fans out there who want to just swarm the video and say, oh, it's just an F-Zero clone. It's not. It's not at all. Play both games, you'll see how different they are. I've always personally classed the F-Zero and Wipeout thing as a Star Trek, Star Wars thing. Star Wars, I personally prefer the movies and everything to Star Trek, but Star Wars, so science fiction it's unbelievable. Star Trek, pretty much everything that was science fiction about it was almost science fact as well. It's all got reasonable laws as to why those things exist. And I personally think this is the same with Wipeout. With F-Zero, it is totally science fiction futuristic race, and everything about it just seems totally overblown and like unrealistic. But with the Wipeout, I've always felt that the courses actually looked as if they could exist. The fact that we have got basic hover technology now and will continue to hopefully grow is the type of thing that makes me think that this type of racing could exist, only without the weapons. And that's, to be fair, another thing. F-Zero does not have weaponry, doesn't have power-ups or anything. You can only do basic attacks. So please don't just bombard the video with it's an F-Zero clone, because I'll just end up deleting the comments like I usually do. But anyway, that really is all the little technical details this here. I mean, I suppose I might as well mention that you've got different styles of brakes in this, which might, if you've never played the game before, be something that you might be interested in. But if you have played Wipeout before, then you're going to know that you've got your air brakes, and that there's an air brake left and an air brake right and that. But it's really just trivial stuff, that. So here's some music, and then just simply a sign-off. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.